Love with a narcissist is far from the fairy tale you might hope for. It's a carefully staged play where they are both the director and the star, and you're merely a supporting character in their calculated game. They hold the reins, controlling not only when things begin and end, but also how you're meant to feel throughout. When they decide to leave, it happens as swiftly as an unexpected storm, without warning, without explanation. Yet they rarely make a clean break. Like a predator toying with its prey, they keep you in a state of uncertainty, unsure whether to hold on or let go. Their most potent weapon is silence, a deliberate, haunting silence. They don't respond to your messages or calls, knowing full well that every attempt you make to reach them reinforces their power. To them, your pleas and persistence are proof that they still have a grip on you. This isn't love, it's a vicious cycle of pain and manipulation, where you're constantly chasing the approval of someone who will never be satisfied, and their ultimate goal, to inflate their fragile ego and reinforce their sense of control. But what happens when you decide to break the cycle? When you step away from the role they've cast you in and refuse to play their game any longer? Will they let you go quietly, or will they fight to pull you back into their web? In today's video, we'll dive deep into the complex psychology of the narcissist and uncover their reactions when their prey escapes their grasp. If you've ever found yourself in such a situation, feel free to share your story in the comments below. I'm here to listen and learn from your experiences. First, they feel wounded. Narcissists are perpetual takers, much like insatiable children who demand endless attention and adoration. They crush your boundaries, dismiss your feelings, and trample over your values with chilling indifference. But the moment you stop feeding their ego, when you refuse to play by their unspoken rules, it's as though the entire world turns against them. Suddenly, they're the ones in pain. Their existence is fueled by your reactions, especially your anger, sadness, and confusion. These emotions act as their lifeline, a distorted form of validation that keeps their fragile sense of self afloat. But when you stop reacting, when you take back your power, they begin to unravel. Deprived of your emotional supply, they're left adrift, hollow, powerless, and deeply wounded. To them, losing control over you is nothing short of a catastrophe. And here lies the ultimate irony. After all they've done, manipulating, gaslighting, devaluing, and discarding you without hesitation, they somehow manage to cast themselves as the victim. They don't grieve the pain they caused you. They grieve the loss of control. Your refusal to suffer for their sake, to sacrifice your peace for their gratification, feels like betrayal in their distorted worldview. Understanding this twisted mindset can feel impossible unless you've experienced it firsthand. Narcissists live in a world where they are the sun and everyone else revolves around them. They cannot fathom your autonomy, nor can they comprehend the depth of the wounds they've inflicted. Instead, when you break free from their hold, they blame you for their suffering, twisting the narrative to make themselves the martyr. Conveniently, they erase the truth, their lies, their cruelty, the chaos they unleashed. In its place, they build a story where they are the one wronged, deserving of your pity. And with this self-serving fiction, they set the stage for another attempt to pull you back into their orbit. They see loss as defeat. Do narcissists truly grieve the end of a relationship? The answer might surprise you. It's not grief as you understand it. Their feelings don't stem from losing a connection or missing the bond you shared. Instead, what they feel is more akin to frustration over losing control. For a narcissist, the end of a relationship represents the loss of their carefully curated project. They don't lament the absence of love or companionship. They lament the loss of their supply, the person who fulfilled their endless demands and bolstered their inflated ego. It's not a partner or soulmate they miss. It's the role you played in serving their needs. You weren't seen as an equal or a partner. You were the servant who followed their script, the ATM that provided endlessly, the companion who filled their void. To them, anyone capable of playing those roles can step into your shoes. It's not about you, it's about what you offered. Think back to the start of the relationship. Their charm and attentiveness seemed effortless. They studied you closely, like a strategist planning every move. Sweet words, grand gestures, and extravagant gifts were all part of their plan, not expressions of genuine love, but tools to draw you in. They painted an irresistible picture of love, only for the facade to crumble and leave you grasping at shadows. When you leave, they'll eventually move on to someone else, but replacing you comes with its own set of challenges, crafting a new mask, rebuilding their web of deceit, and starting their performance all over again. Keeping you is far easier than finding someone new. Their regret, therefore, isn't about you, it's about losing the convenience, the control, and the validation you once provided. It's selfishness cloaked in what appears to be remorse. Beneath their frustration lies a cold truth. Their loss has nothing to do with love, and everything to do with power. They get angry and shift the blame. Narcissists are masters of paradox. They thrive on the very emotions they provoke in others. Your frustration, anger, or sadness isn't just collateral damage, it's their fuel. Like emotional parasites, they feed on the chaos they create, using it to bolster their fragile sense of power. But what happens when you cut off their supply? When you stop reacting, when you remain calm and indifferent, it sends their world into turmoil. Without your emotional responses to sustain them, they feel lost, as though a lifeline has been severed. The silence you offer forces them into a confrontation with the emptiness they've been avoiding. Yet rather than taking responsibility for their actions or reflecting on the damage they've caused, they direct their anger outward toward you. They convince themselves that you are the cause of their suffering. Despite the lies they've told, the hurt they've inflicted, and the control they've tried to maintain, they see themselves as the victim. Your refusal to play their game, to crumble under their manipulation, becomes an affront they can't tolerate. Think of a narcissist as a cracked mirror. They can only reflect the parts of reality that suit them, never acknowledging the broken pieces of their own image. To admit fault would mean facing those cracks, and that's something they're unwilling to do. Blaming you is easier. It protects their fragile ego and keeps their distorted sense of self intact. Unlike a healthy individual who might reflect, apologize, and strive to grow, a narcissist deflects. They turn their pain into anger, their shame into accusations, and their failures into your faults. Accountability is a foreign concept to them. They'd rather rewrite the narrative entirely than admit they've done wrong. To them, their anger is a shield, one that prevents introspection and ensures they never have to confront the truth. And in their world, it's always someone else's fault. They are consumed by a storm of chaotic emotions. Narcissists often become trapped in a turbulent psychological cycle, torn between a yearning to win you back and a simmering desire for revenge. Their emotions swing wildly, much like an out-of-control pendulum. At one moment, they might convince themselves they need you, that life without you is unbearable. In the next, their thoughts turn venomous, blaming you for every perceived wrong. This relentless oscillation between longing and resentment creates an emotional storm that leaves them drowning in the chaos of their own making. This erratic behavior is commonly known as hovering, a term derived from the way a vacuum sucks everything back in. When narcissists sense they've lost their grip on you, they may go to great lengths to reel you back in tearful apologies, nostalgic reminders of happier times, or even grand gestures that seem like genuine attempts at reconciliation. But don't be fooled. Their intent isn't love or remorse, it's control. The idea of you leaving and thriving without them is a direct blow to their inflated yet fragile ego. If you return, the pattern will almost certainly resume with nothing truly changed. Caught in this emotional whirlwind, narcissists often try to distract themselves by seeking out someone new. They may dive headfirst into a rebound relationship, not out of affection, but as a way to avoid confronting the loss of you. These relationships are typically fleeting, as the unresolved toxicity they bring eventually poisons them. No matter how far they run, or how many people they replace you with, they often find themselves back at square one, angry, regretful, and drowning in self-pity. Research by psychologists such as Dr. Ramani Durvasula highlights that narcissists struggle to process loss or failure in healthy ways. Instead of learning from the experience, they spiral into feelings of victimhood and perceived injustice. This inability to grow or accept responsibility traps them in a toxic loop, one that not only consumes them but can pull you back in if you're not careful. The key to navigating this storm is setting firm, unwavering boundaries. Remember, their attempts to draw you back into their orbit are not driven by love or a genuine desire to change. It's about power regaining the control they feel slipping away. If you've made the decision to leave, stand strong in your resolve. Don't let their manipulative apologies, emotional outbursts, or fleeting vulnerability weaken your stance. Instead of re-entering their chaos, prioritize your healing. Focus on creating a life free from manipulation, instability, and harm. You deserve a love built on mutual respect and genuine care, not a perpetual cycle of suffering and regret. Peace and self-growth await you beyond the reach of their influence. Dealing with narcissists is undeniably a tough journey, but gaining insight into the motives behind their facade can empower you to reclaim your peace and begin the path toward emotional freedom. Before we conclude, we want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to you, our incredible audience. Your unwavering support, thoughtful feedback, and engagement are what make this channel possible. Every view, comment, and piece of encouragement fuels our mission to create impactful content and deliver meaningful insights. Your belief in our work inspires us to keep improving, striving for excellence, and sharing valuable knowledge with the community. We are honored to have you as an integral part of this journey, and we cherish the positive impact we can create together. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the valuable content we have in store. By spreading these ideas and insights, we can contribute to building a more informed and supportive community. Most importantly, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, experiences, or questions about today's topic in the comments below. We're always here to listen, engage, and learn from each other. Thank you for being part of this journey. We look forward to growing and exploring with you in the videos to come.